Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and today I want to give a quick rundown of Zombie Juggernaut. We're going to look at his abilities, what he does, and then discuss his ISO, and then see this amazing fidget animation. Did you see him rip his helmet off? That's that's pretty sick. All right, let's look at his abilities, what he brings to the team, and whether his T4s are worth it for his value on his team. Actually, let's look at the abilities on here because it's gonna be just easier to see for me at least. Well, how's that? All right. Undead Momentum. So this is his passive. On spawn, gain taunt. On war offense, he's gonna gain 2 charges with that. When this character drops below 50% health, he's gonna clear taunt and heal block from himself. Gain death proof. So he's gonna prevent himself from dying, and then he's gonna give taunt to an undead Asgardian. When an undying ally is summoned or revived, he's gonna gain 1 charge. So whenever a Greg comes or Zombie Iron Man comes back, when attacked, if this character has charged, gain 30% speed bar plus 5 per undying ally. So with 2 Gregs, that can mean 50% speed bar whenever he's hit. That's massive. On war offense, gain 10% drain per charge. On death, if he has 5 or more charges, he's gonna revive. Stun cannot be applied to him. He's gonna give 100% resistance to himself and his team. That's massive. He's gonna gain 30% damage per charge. And then big thing, on war offense, if his health is greater or equal to 50%, he's gonna lower enemy resistance and prevent enemies from gaining speed up. Alright, now I think this is massive. Just lowering resistance means even if you have a low star Zombie Iron Man, you don't need to run him as skirmisher anymore because with 75% resistance reduction, it's gonna be much easier for him to land his stuff. It's gonna be much easier for Hela to land her stuff. Let's look at the T4 upgrade and evaluate whether this is valuable. Gain 40% resistance for the team. On war offense, if this character's health is greater or equal to 50%, lower resistance by 70%, 75%. I think, okay, so this doesn't, um, it's not a T4 where if you don't have it, the team's functionality isn't complete, but it really amplifies that functionality. So I think this is a very, very high value one. I wouldn't consider it required necessarily, but I think it's very high value. So this is a definite upgrade for me. All right, let's look at his ultimate. Crushing death. Oh, sorry. Well, let's look at his special because this is going to be his turn 1 ability. It's a 4/4 cooldown. Flip taunt and immunity on all enemies. Attack all enemies for 450% damage and apply slow. Prolong all negative effects. On more offense, apply +1 trauma. Gain deflect and taunt. And on war offense, it's basically irresistible, it's unavoidable, and unblockable. That's a great ability. Now let's see what the T4 upgrade is. So he's gonna spawn with taunt. He's gonna go very early, and he's gonna wipe the field, clear any pre-taunts or anything, and then he's gonna extend all debuffs as well as he's gonna apply slows, and on war offense he's gonna apply trauma. Because we're mainly gonna use him in war, it's great that this is irresistible. So this is a great ability. So the T4 helps him flip taunt and immunity on all enemies, and then it goes from prolonging 3 debuffs to all debuffs, and then plus 90% damage to all enemies is actually a pretty nice chunk of damage upgrade. This one I would say I would call this required because it flips that taunt and immunity. You might not always face a team where this is important, but I think that's really high value, and immunity's gonna prevent you from doing your traumas, your ability blocks, your most importantly your bleeds for this team. So clearing that, actually flipping that is pretty uh, crucial to the functionality of the team. So I would say this, I would call this a required and very high value upgrade. All right, now let's take a look at his ultimate, which is his turn 2 ability. It's a 5/5 uh, ability. All right, Crushing Death. Clear all negative effects on this character. If negative effects were removed, he's gonna heal. Even if they weren't, he's gonna heal for 10% flat. He's gonna spread all bleed from primary to all adjacent, and then attack all of those characters for 500 plus 30% per per bleed. That's high damage. On war offense, he's also gonna prolong all bleed. On war offense, it's unblockable and unavoidable. This is a nice ability. Uh, it's basically a damage ability, and just spreading the bleeds means more mind control from Zombie Iron Man. Uh, so this is gonna add 100% damage to primary targets and adjacent targets, and then it's gonna improve the drain from 30 to 50%. I think this is a high value. I would not consider this a required. For me, I would do this. It's a big ability, big damage, and drain is really important for this character because his revive mechanic doesn't work the same way as Iron Man's. He's gonna need some bulk. So any health recovery we want, I would consider this a high value one. Maybe not as high value as the passive, but I think it's still very high value. So I think that's a great upgrade to make. All right, finally let's look at his basic. Decayed Blow. Apply 2 bleed to the primary and attack for 350% damage. If the primary target has bleed, attack for 10% of target's max health. So it's like Morgan Le Fay's basic. Chain to one adjacent for 330 damage. Spread all bleed. Counter attack breaks this chain. This is unavoidable, and on war offense, it cannot be blocked. So it's a good basic. Uh, you know, nothing to say. It upgrades the damage 60%. It's only 2 targets. I wouldn't say this is a T4 that you need. He's not necessarily the main damage dealer of the team, although he does have high damage. So as you build him bigger, I would put more value in this because that damage stat's gonna go up. But at this point, I don't think it's all that. You know, if you're short on T4s, like me, I have a lot of T4s, so I'll probably end up upgrading it. But if you're somebody that is short on T4s constantly, this isn't one I would look at. But if you do have the T4s, because he applies bleed on this ability, just improving that is nice, and then 60% damage is okay for 2 targets. Alright, so there's that. Now let's look at ISO classes. He has one ability that's a massive AoE. His special is a conal AoE, and then his basic is a chain attack. Beyond that, he has on-spawn taunt, and then he has taunt on his special. I think Raider is an okay choice for him. I think Striker is also alright. Skirmisher, I can see why, but the main ability where he needs focus has 1000% focus. And he lowers enemy resistance by 75%. Where is it? Over here. So focus isn't going to be that big of an issue at lower stars. At higher stars, I don't think you look at Skirmisher at all. Only at lower stars, because this is a zombie character, probably another exclusive release. That would might be the only reason you look at Skirmisher. At higher stars, don't consider Skirmisher. I think the the best choice for him, both low and high stars, is Fortifier. Again, he doesn't revive the same way as Zombie Iron Man. He needs those 5 charges to revive. So you want him to have as big of an opportunity to get those charges, so that barrier is gonna help. Secondarily, there's callouts in his passive, the enemy resistance and the speed up prevention, that require him to be over 50% max health. So by adding barrier, you increase that cap where he would fall below 50%, and you keep these abilities up longer. And then third, uh, if you get to blue 5 fortifier, that means you're going to be able to um, grant him 40% drain. Again, as somebody who's taunting and doesn't revive as well as Zombie Iron Man, I would say that that drain on the Fortifier 5 is going to be very helpful for him. And I'm out of ions. Lovely. Alright, one more. Okay. Yeah, I would recommend a Fortifier. And I'll tell you this, on my main account, I will probably take him to Fortifier Blue 5 right away. Because, especially because I'm gonna unlock him at a low star. Uh, just having that extra max barrier, having that 40% drain on his abilities, I think is gonna be great. Um, yeah, so though that's like the crash course for Zombie Juggernaut. I would uh, I would tell you to do his ultimate, and then I would recommend his special and his passive, especially his passive. And then his basic is a luxury T4 for sure. And ISO class wise, I would say Fortifier at low stars or high stars. Um, if you're gonna get him to 7/7, maybe Raider or Striker just to maximize that insane damage, sure, but that's not gonna be realistic for a lot of people. I think even at that level, Fortifier is gonna be perfect for him. So that's what I recommend. And then gear, up to whatever you can afford. He's gonna be somebody that's very stat dependent. So here, as you can see, I'm out of what teal focus cats. That's why I can upgrade on the test server. But I'll probably take him to 16, maybe 17 even. So yeah, as high as you can. Tesseract isn't that popular of a unique either, so that's good. And then while we're at it, I don't think you should consider him for Dark Dimension 6 at all. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the crash course on Zombie Juggernaut. Thank you for taking it with me. I'll see you in the next one.